All rise. Support court with Judge Van de Bee is now in session. Judge's case number JVB 2003, Morris case.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
You all may be seated. All right, Mr. Morris, you brought this case before the court. What's going on?
Well, I come to you today, Your Honor, because I'm trying to get...
The courtroom drama is heating up as Mr. Morris's situation takes a new turn. Here's the story. Mr. Morris, a father, is juggling his responsibilities as a parent with his financial duties. He's asking for a reduction in his child support payments, arguing that he's already paying enough, $880 a month plus $362 for health insurance. On top of that, he spends time with his kids several times a week. But is that really enough? Or is he just trying to avoid his financial obligations? Things get even more complicated when Mr. Morris shares that his ex, the mother of his children, plans to move to Florida. According to him, she wants to follow her dream of living on the beach, a goal he sees as selfish, given the circumstances. The big question is whether she's moving for a job or just for her own happiness. As he tells his side of the story, it's clear that Mr. Morris is upset.
For health insurance. And I see my kids every maybe like 4 times a week.
Okay.
I see them pretty often. And she's trying to take my kids and move off to Florida.
Okay.
And Your Honor, I'm not going for that.
All right. Did she tell you why she was trying to move to Florida?
Because she just want to live her best life.
She said that?
That's what it is. She want to go to the beach, drink coconut balls, whatever they have out there in Florida, and just have her best life.
Okay, wait a minute. So did she actually tell you that, or are you interpreting her as living her best life?
Your Honor, why would anybody else want to move to Florida? That's Paradise City.
Well, I mean, I kind of want to move too, but I can't go.
You know what I'm saying?
Because I got to work. So could it be for a job?
You know, Your Honor, I haven't asked, because when she told me that she wanted to move to Florida, I got so upset about the fact of losing my kids that I was like, are you moving to Florida for like vacation time, or just so you can live your best life? Or because we in Texas, I'm in Texas. I'm a good dad.
So what did she say to that when you said, are you trying to move to Florida to live your best life?
She said, you shouldn't have messed up.
What did you do?
It's a long story, Your Honor. I could tell you how we split up, but I kind of messed up.
Well, I have time. Do me a favor. Do me a favor. I didn't even realize you had gum in your mouth till you start smiling. You know, I don't allow gum chewing in here.
I'm sorry, Your Honor.
Oh, it's okay. You can just put it to your back of your throat. I'm not going to tell you to swallow it. I don't think that's really healthy.
Yes, ma'am.
But I have time for the story when you're ready, after you.
It's to the back right now, Your Honor. No more chewing for me.
Okay.
So,
continue.
Long story short, I met this lady, our freshman year of college. Okay. And, we were in class, and, she was sitting in the front, I was sitting in the back. And I saw her and I said, man, I'm gonna have to put my bid in as soon as class is over. So
bid, that's what they call it.
Yeah,
okay.
we call it put your bid in. Cause,
right.
I'm sure there's other people that put their bid in too. So if I got the highest bid, of course I'm a getter, you know?
Oh, so you subcontracting these things now?
I was, yeah. At that time, I was subcontracting, you know what I'm saying?
Interesting.
Right.
Keep going.
So I saw her in the hall and I came to her and my bid won. And we was together for years, Your Honor. We were together for years. We have 2 kids. We have a 5-year-old and a 10-year-old.
Okay.
Throughout the time. And as life just went on, we just started kind of fading, Your Honor. I'm a coach. I'm a football coach at a college.
Okay.
And one of the cheerleading coaches kept hitting on me. And I kept rejecting her.
So you put a bid on her too?
She put the bid on me, Your Honor. Oh. Yeah, she put the bid on me. Ooh. So I gave in to that bid. She had a high bid. And at the time, my lady, she wasn't putting in no more bids on me. She wasn't cooking me dinner. She wasn't massaging me like she used to. She wouldn't even let me watch sports on Sundays, Your Honor, because she wanted to watch The Bachelor. So
Mr. Morris and his ex have a history that sounds almost too dramatic to be true. In court, he shares how they first met in college, a love story that started when he went out of his way to help her. The judge asks for more details, and Mr. Morris doesn't hold back. His casual tone and the way he admits past mistakes reveal a lot about his character. He openly acknowledges that he made a big mistake by betraying his ex and later regretted it. It's obvious he wants to come across as a better dad now, but the question is whether that's enough to change the judge's mind. The judge's role here is more than just deciding on the child support reduction. She's also trying to make sense of the emotional battle between these two parents. On one side, there's Mr. Morris, who is clearly putting an effort to stay involved in his kids' lives while managing child support payments. On the other side, there's the mother, looking to move forward and start fresh, even if it means making a big change.
Trying to do construction on my home. So it's just interesting hearing you use that term referring to relationships. Okay, so you don't want her to move to Florida.
No, ma'am.
All right. And you want your child support reduced as a result if she does move? Or do you just want it reduced just because?
I just want it reduced just because.
Okay, got it.
I feel like I know dudes that don't see their kids ever and they not on child support. I see my kids multiple times through the week and I'm paying $880 a month.
Okay. Fair enough. I believe I have majority of what I needed. Okay. Is there anything else you wanted me to know before I move over to her?
No, that's about it, Your Honor. That's
okay.
About it.
All right. All right. Ma'am, and give me your last name.
It's Adams with 2 D's.
Adams with 2 D's. Okay. All right. Mrs. Adams or Miss Adams.
Thank you.
Okay. Miss Adams. So tell me about, this story that he told, he actually, you wanted to bid or he wanted to bid.
Well, I think that tells you everything you need to know about his view of relationships is very transactional.
Oh, yeah. That's the word I was looking for. That's it. Transactional.
Yeah. Okay. It's very much I do this and you do that. And I think the fact that he didn't even bother to mention our children's names should tell you everything about our relationship.
Well, he told me the ages.
Yeah, well, that's great. Robert and Madison, that's with a Y.
But she ain't asked for the kid.
Okay, yeah, I get it. Anyway, so, going back to, evidently I'm just going to Florida for a permanent vacation. I'm actually going for a job.
All right.
So what's that job?
Robert, and I'm going to be a marine biologist.
So when this dream come apart? Because you ain't had this dream when we met.
See, exactly. Do you have to listen?
Miss Adams, I need you to talk directly to me, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
And Mr. Morris, I'm giving you an opportunity to speak. Let me hear what she has to say.
You're right,
and people can change dreams. I mean, depending on how long you guys have been apart, a lot could have changed in her life.
It's just she taking my kids, Judge.
Okay, well, let's hear what she has to say.
Right.
She said marine biologist, right?
Yes.
That sounds like a really good job. And I want to hear about it. See how much money she makes.
She just having random dreams, Judge, but it's all
okay,
good.
that's great, but I need to see how much money she's making.
Right.
Okay?
I'm sorry.
All right.
Yeah, less talking, more listening.
And you do the same thing. All right, now. Continue.
Jesus.
So I'm taking the kids to Florida because I have a greater job opportunity.
Okay.
And, it's so interesting to me that he says that he sees the kids 4 times a week. I guess he's talking about maybe a FaceTime call or seeing them on his phone screen, because I certainly don't see him picking up the kids and taking them to the doctor and cleaning up vomit in the middle of the night. So it's great that he thinks that he's paying for the right to see his kids, and that there are people who don't pay child support and who see their kids a whole lot, Judge. That tells you everything you need to know about the transactional nature of relationships to Mr. Morris. So, look, the fact of the matter is, I guess he doesn't realize that his children are going to need to eat, whether they live in Texas or they live in Florida. And
that's true.
And they're going to need new tennis shoes and new clothes, and I guess he just thinks that kids like money.
We're left wondering, is Mr. Morris genuinely trying to be a good dad, or is he just looking for a way out of his financial duties? His request to lower his child support payments, especially after admitting past mistakes, puts him in a tough spot. The relationship with his ex is already rocky, and the emotional tension makes his financial arguments even more complicated. This courtroom drama is a tangled mix of love, regret, and financial reality. Will the judge grant him the reduction he's asking for, or see through his reasoning and make him keep paying the current amount? One thing's for sure, the stakes are high, and every move matters, Mr. Morris is pushing for a cut in child support because he believes he's already doing his part as an involved father. But with emotions running high and both sides presenting their case, it's hard to predict how this will end.
Going up from $2,000 a month to $2,800 a month.
Okay.
Because I have to have a 3-bedroom because Robert and Madison need their own bedrooms. And, of course, I have to pay for flood insurance and other things like that.
Okay. All right. And you mentioned food.
Yeah. So, the kids eat organic.
Okay.
And they're vegan. And so my grocery bill for them is already close to $800 a month.
Okay.
So his opinion that $880 is too much for the kids is wrong. It is a wrong opinion because your children deserve the nutrition they need to grow up big and healthy and strong so they can be college athletes like you want them to.
Okay. So Miss Adams, you said that your rent is going up $800.
Yeah.
You have to pay flood insurance. The children's diet, they eat organic food and they're vegan. Okay. So are you using the child support for flood insurance and rent too, or are you using it to feed the kids? I just want to make sure I'm clear on what it is that you're saying in regards to his request to get a reduction.
Yes, Your Honor. So the thing is that if I was living in a 1-bedroom because I was by myself, my rent would be a lot lower.
All right.
But I have to get a 3-bedroom because I have a boy and a girl and I don't want them sleeping in the same bedroom.
Yeah, I can see that.
So I have to get a 3-bedroom and so it's not just that, it's my electric bill, it's cell phones because our 5-year-old has a cell phone. So now I have to make sure that we've got her a phone line so you can talk to her dad so he can see her 4 times a week on FaceTime.
So about that, he said that he sees the children now 4 times a week. And you're saying that's not true, except for like a FaceTime video or something like that.
He sees the kids on an inconsistent basis.
That's a lie, Your Honor.
Okay. So when you say inconsistent, right now, do you all operate under a standard order where it's like first, third, and fifth?
He has every weekend and I have during the week.
Okay, so every weekend he has.
Right.
Okay. During that every weekend, it's inconsistent is what you're saying?
I mean, it's just all over the place. He just comes and goes and sees the kids whenever it's convenient to him, or maybe his girlfriend like turns him down for a date or whatever.
Okay, so that was petty.
What girlfriend you talking about?
We didn't have to go there. We didn't have to go there. So is that what the issue is? Like, you're still mad at him about that story that he told?
Well, okay, so he put in a bid for an upgrade, or the upgrade put in a bid for him or whatever, and now I have to explain to our son why our family fell apart.
Oh. So it's some hurt feelings there. Okay, I understand. So, have you already moved to Florida, or is this something that you're intending on doing pretty soon?
Well, I took the job offer and I've already found an apartment.
So the answer is yes. You pretty much already...
Everything but the U-Haul, Your Honor.
Okay. So in your court order, do you have a geographic restriction because Dad lived here?
Yes, but he moved just outside of Ellis County, so he's just outside of the geographic restriction, so it's technically.
Okay. And technically is what you said, but is that what your court order says?
Well, the court order says Dallas and contiguous counties, and he moved like a mile on the other side of the Ellis County line.
Okay. And I do have a copy of your court order here, and it doesn't mention that it's automatically lifted.
Oh, okay. Well, I was just thinking it was the one that...
O is right.
Thank you, Your Honor.
O is right.
I'm sorry.
O is right. Because you can't just leave. You can't just do that. You actually have to ask permission to modify this order like he did.
Well, can I modify the order to move to Florida?
Did you file anything for today?
I mean,
It's a yes or no.
But that's just one side of the story. Miss Adams, Mr. Morris's ex, clearly has a different perspective. She argues that the kids need more than just occasional visits and the financial support he's already providing, especially since she's planning to move to Florida for a better job and will be dealing with higher living costs. When Mr. Morris suggests that Miss Adams just wants to move for a permanent vacation and doesn't even mention the kids by name, it becomes clear that he might not fully understand what's really at stake. Miss Adams, on the other hand, seems frustrated by how he's viewing the situation. She explains that the move isn't about leisure. It's about a real career opportunity as a marine biologist. Plus, raising the kids isn't cheap. They follow a vegan and organic diet, costing around $800 a month just for groceries. Balancing.
and then I could move out.
Who did you hear that from? Did you Google? You did one of those Google searches? One of the Google lawyers told you that?
Yeah, I guess.
Oh, okay. Because they told you wrong, and that's the problem with Googling everything. You should have actually consulted with an attorney who would have interpreted this order properly to you. You can't just move. So let me tell you what we're going to do, because I think this is the fair thing to do. Regardless to whether you say his visits are inconsistent, he say they're consistent, the reality of it is when you move to Florida, he can no longer have access to those kids. So even if he were coming this day, and did every weekend, he won't be able to do that anymore now that you are going to move to Florida. So what I'm not going to touch is your custody arrangement. Not going to touch that at all. This is a child support court. That has nothing to do with us, okay? So I'm not going to touch it at all. You are free to move to Florida. However, he's coming off child support. So then he can use the money, the $880 or so that he would give you for child support. He can use that to travel to actually see the kid.
But what if he doesn't, Your Honor?
Well, if he doesn't, then after some time of him not doing it consistently, and when I say consistently and consecutively,
Miss Adams faces many added expenses when it comes to raising her children, including costs for health care, food, and living arrangements. While Mr. Morris may be paying a fair amount each month, it's evident that he may not fully understand the true cost of raising kids. From Miss Adams' perspective, Mr. Morris seems to view his responsibilities as a father more like a transaction. He might believe that as long as he makes financial contributions and spends time with the kids a few times a week, it should be enough to justify reducing his support. However, this approach could be risky. As the judge points out, children need more than just money. They need consistent care. This includes meeting their emotional, physical, and developmental needs, not just paying bills. So, is it fair for Mr. Morris to ask for a reduction? Given Miss Adams' situation, it's hard to say yes. She is carrying a heavier financial burden to care for the kids, while Mr. Morris is proposing a reduction based on limited involvement. Raising children isn't just about how much time you spend with them. It's about ensuring they have everything they need to thrive. Miss Adams is focused on building a stable future for her kids in Florida with a steady job and secure housing. Meanwhile, Mr. Morris, who has made questionable decisions in the past, struggles to see the bigger picture. This is likely to weigh heavily in the judge's decision. The judge will likely focus on what the children truly need, something more than just financial support. This might be a tough reality for Mr. Morris to accept, but it's important to remember that the children's well-being goes beyond money.
but absent anything like that, I believe that's in the best interest of the children. And quite frankly, that's fair. You're moving without permission, right? Yeah. Which is a violation of your court order. So it's only fair that he stops paying child support. So beyond a reduction, he's coming off child support today. Now you will have to keep maintaining the health insurance. Okay.
That's fine, Your Honor.
All right. So that, what is it? 362?
Yes, ma'am.
You'll still continue to pay the health insurance, but there will be no child support paid from him to you. Hopefully you guys can come to an agreement.
That's the plan, Your Honor. Once we leave, I plan on giving her a call so we can try to talk about things and kind of get on a good level with each other.
Yeah, I think that can work. And who knows, your job may transfer up here and you may end up being back in Dallas anyway. Now, if that happens, you all would need to come back because then we need to look at something different about what child support is going to be. But until then, you know, enjoy Florida. All right. Is there anything further?
No?
Thank you, Your Honor, for everything. You really made a big change in my life, and I'm glad we came to your court today.
All right. Well, you're very welcome. And if there's nothing further, you all.
Clip 6. Lowering child support seems less like a reasonable request and more like an attempt to avoid responsibility. This situation is getting complicated, and the judge has some tough decisions to make. Let's break it down. Miss Adams plans to move to Florida for a job opportunity, but she hasn't followed the legal steps needed to change her custody agreement or ask for permission to relocate with the children. This is a big problem because the court order seems to have restrictions on where she can move the kids without the father's consent or approval from the court. In her mind, since her ex moved out of the county, she thought that gave her the freedom to move to Florida. However, as the judge pointed out, just because he moved doesn't automatically lift those restrictions. The legal process is what counts, not what someone reads online. As for child support, Miss Adams argues that she needs